Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Martinez and I'm a naturopathic doctor at Physiochiro Wellness. Today I'm going to be talking about colds and flus because the season is starting and many people are asking me what we can do as naturopathic doctors for you. So first let's start talking about how to differentiate between a cold or a flu. So colds are typically caused by about over 200 types of viruses. Typically, they're called rhinoviruses. And also, the onset tends to be slow compared to what we may see for a flu. Usually, there is no fever associated. Cough will be either absent or it can be mild. We normally would see symptoms such as a sore throat, runny nose, sneezing. Usually there is no headaches, and usually we don't see body aches or fatigue. If we do, it might be mild. A flu, on the other hand, is caused by the influenza virus. It's a whole family of them, so it's not just one, but a variety of them. The onset tends to be quite sudden. There's usually a fever involved. There is significant cough as well. Normally, we might not see a sore throat, usually no runny nose, and mild sneezing as well. Typically, people will feel a headache, significant body aches, and also significantly fatigued. Overall, both of them are caused by viruses, and the naturopathic approach would be very similar for both of them. How do we prevent infections? That's usually the best way to go. And there are many things that can be done, starting with lifestyle habits. So number one, washing your hands. And the standard is to wet your hands, dispense the soap, lather and scrub for about 20 seconds. Then you would rinse for 10 seconds. You would turn off the tap, dry your hands, and of course, remember to wash between your fingers and under your nails. The next habit that you can start to implement for the prevention of a cold or a flu is what we call nasal irrigation. Basically, this is just rinsing away any virus that might have been in contact with the mucous membranes of your nose, and therefore will stop the growth of the virus. This maintains healthy bacteria in your nasal passages as well, and also it can help to get rid of any excess mucus from your sinuses and thus reducing inflammation. This is particularly helpful for people who tend to get sick regularly, and also people who may have asthma, allergies, and chronic sinusitis as well. You would be using a water and salt solution for this. And usually they are already bought as a mixture. It's called saline solution. Okay. The next preventative measure is diet. That's very important. So you want to limit your sugar intake, your alcohol intake as well. We know that these can reduce the activity of white blood cells, which are involved in fighting infections. Something else that you can do is increase garlic and onions. You definitely want to focus on a whole foods diet, and that will include brightly colored fruits and vegetables, high quality proteins. So that would include chicken, turkey, fish, some red meats as well. Eggs are also good sources of protein. And of course, you also want to focus on healthy fats, and that can include nuts and seeds, avocados, extra virgin olive oil, extra virgin coconut oil, and some nut butters as well. Fermented foods such as kimchi, sauerkraut, kombucha, kefir can also be of benefit. And bone broth, I'm a huge fan of that. It's very rich in minerals and vitamins, and also a source of collagen. Another important measure is to focus on your stress. So if you feel like you tend to have moderate to high stress levels in your life, consider seeing a naturopath to help you with some stress management strategies. The stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, they suppress the immune system by lowering the infection-killing white blood cells in your body. And so you may have noticed that the more stressed you are, the more often that you may be getting sick. So for this, usually a naturopathic doctor might focus on acupuncture treatments to help you with your stress, and also some herbs that we call adaptogens that are great support for stressful times. Another huge practice that you can implement is exercise. There is great evidence that exercise increases the levels of white blood cells, which help fight infections. This is very well documented, and most people will say that exercise is the best medicine for many, many conditions. We also know that it decreases recovery time, it can prevent infections, and it's also very inexpensive because you can just do some exercise at home. So now to more specific nutrients that we may use for prevention of colds and flus. So one of the main ones is vitamin A. It can increase white blood cell function, which again, these are the cells that help to fight infections. And it also may have some antiviral activity. Vitamin C also has antiviral activity. It also increases the activity of white blood cells, and it improves the integrity of the mucous membranes. That can be our nose, our sinuses, our throat. So it's a good one to include in your daily routine. And it also decreases the severity and duration of symptoms. Vitamin E is another good one. It improves immune response. Zinc is also a great mineral to include. It has antiviral activity, and it decreases severity and duration of symptoms. And selenium is another good one. It enhances your immune response. Sleep is very important and in most cases ignored or undervalued. During deep sleep, we release immune-enhancing compounds. So just for that reason alone, it's something that is a must for prevention and for the treatment of colds and flus. Low quality or inadequate sleep is associated with an increased frequency, severity, and duration of common infections. So what happens if you do get a cold or a flu? What can we offer as naturopathic doctors? So first, we would focus on a very simple diet. So avoiding sugar, increase your fluid intake, and that can include water, herbal teas, or broths. Raw garlic is also quite helpful for halting the symptoms. And also one of the things that your naturopath might recommend is to reduce or avoid dairy consumption. Some of our favorite herbs for treating colds and flus include echinacea. It reduces the severity and the duration of symptoms. It's well researched for its ability to inhibit the influenza virus from growing. And it also comes in many forms. So you can buy it as a lozenge, as a throat spray, as a tincture, as a tea. There's various forms of echinacea. Another favorite is elderflower or elderberry. That one enhances the immune system and the body's ability to produce a fever. And it's also high in vitamin C, which we discussed earlier. I'm also a huge fan of slippery elm. This one, I prefer it in a lozenge form for sore throats or in a tea as well. Another favorite is steam inhalations. This is basically where you will be perhaps boiling a pot of water to a point where there's steam coming out of it, and you would come as close as you can in a safe manner without burning yourself, and maybe even putting a cover around your face to retain the vapors. But before you do so, you may add some essential oils to that water so that the vapors are released and you can inhale them deeply when you come close to it. This can help reduce inflammation in your sinuses. It can help clear mucus. And some of my favorite antiviral and immune boosting essential oils include thyme, eucalyptus, peppermint, lavender, and rosemary. Make sure that if you are going to try these essential oils, you check that they are in fact an essential oil and not a synthetic blend of oils with synthetic fragrances. It will say on the label that it's an essential oil. There's many that might be well crafted as well or organic. So there's a wide variety now available at good health food stores. Sweat it out is also a common practice of naturopaths. So we usually may recommend a patient to have a hot shower or a bath, to cover up in many layers as well, to go to a sauna or a jacuzzi. And sweat mimics the body's natural immune response of a fever. So that activates the immune system and it kills viruses. We also, of course, recommend rest. So take a day off. It will reduce transmission of infections. It allows the immune system to access enough energy to efficiently function and heal. So some of the specific products that I tend to use quite a bit in my practice I'm going to be listing them. I just want to clarify that I have no affiliation to any of these companies, and also the dosing might vary based case by case. So the Deep Immune, it's by St. Francis Herbal Farm. They make an adult version and a child version. This product I tend to use for prevention of colds and flus, especially for kids who tend to get sick frequently during the cold and flu season. You can also use it to treat a cold or a flu, but what I've found is that it works the best as a preventative measure. The next product that is a huge favorite and also always at my home is a tea called Throat Coat by Traditional Medicinals. As the name suggests, specifically for when you have a very sore throat. It helps to soothe the lining of the throat and gives you some relief immediately, actually. It also has some, depending on the type of blend that you get, it might have some antiviral herbs such as echinacea or licorice. So for that reason, it can also be quite helpful. Anything by A. Vogel in their Echinophores line is great. They make tinctures, they make hot tea blends, lozenges, a spray, and these ones would be for any of the typical cold and flu symptom. I'm also a fan of Stodol and Corzalia by Boiron. Stodol is a cough syrup. They also have a baby version. And Corzalia is for common cold symptoms such as runny nose. I love R6 by Dr. Rekweg. This is a homeopathic blend. And this one is for your typical flu symptoms. So fever, body aches, fatigue, sneezing. It's quite great for that, especially at the onset of the symptoms. Another great cough product is called Drosera Plex by Unda. So I'm also a huge fan of using homeopathic remedies that are chosen based on the particular symptoms of the patient. So that can give you relief quite fast, and it can just improve your overall symptoms. So to get a homeopathic remedy chosen specifically for your symptoms, I recommend that you see me or any of our other naturopathic doctors at PhysioChiro Wellness. Okay, if you have any questions, feel free to email us. You can call us. And now we also have a chat function in our website that you can use, and one of our receptionists will be able to answer your questions.